Hello and welcome to the latest Comics Etc. episode. Today it's just me, and it's just me because I will be reviewing the Death of Wolverine Omnibus, and Remy has never read a Wolverine comic in his life. So if you're watching Remy, this one's for you as well. When I found out this one was arriving, the very first thing that I did is I went back and I reread the original miniseries because I felt like this omnibus shouldn't exist. I felt that the original storyline was good enough that you couldn't fill an entire omnibus with Death of Wolverine storyline. I hadn't read it since 2014, so I went back and reread it, and I was pleasantly surprised that I was very, very wrong. It starts off with Wolverine having already lost his healing ability, which meant that I did have to go back and reread the original stories, which are reprinted in this, to kind of find out why Wolverine was in this predicament and who was actually out to get him. So this reprints the 2013 series, the 2014 series, and the Death of Wolverine mini-series. In the very first series, it's just a typical Wolverine book, which was still very good, but at the very end of it, he does lose his ability to heal. The 2014 series is him dealing with not having a healing ability after all these years. And then of course, there's the Death of Wolverine series itself, which was excellent. However, it is very short. Now, the second half of this omnibus is the crossover series. So like Death of Wolverine, Life of X, and the Wolverine and the Captain America one-shot and all those ones I'll go through in the unwrapping. Typically in these omnibuses, I don't actually like the spin-offs because I find they're just filler. And I was actually surprised that all of them are actually pretty good. You can tell that the creators mapped out the entire storyline from beginning to end. And a lot of it is essential reading, and a lot of it is actually really good. So based just on the storyline itself, I'm shockingly recommending this one. I didn't think I would because it seems like a bit of a cash-in. But like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. So let's unwrap this bad boy and I'll let you know what I think. Checking, 1, 2. Here we go. The very first thing I will say about this is that I kind of regret getting this cover. I really should have got the Alex Ross cover. It's way nicer, so silly me. Okay, first let's open it up. Typical Marvel binding. It is kind of loose and crappy, but it protects the product at least, so that's good. There we go. Okay, let's have a look. Terrible slipcase that you all know I hate. Okay, let's have a look. So slipcase, we have the rundown of what the comic's actually about, which I never really got in omnibuses because you can't read it anyway. And a list of the creators. So we've got Salvador LaRocca, Alan Davis, Charles Soule, Paul Cornell, Steve McNiven, and Ryan Stegman, who's a current artist on X-Men. This was his first little foray into the X-Men universe, I believe. So there's the slipcase, there's all the information that's relevant, and let's have a look now at the actual book itself. I do like that artwork. That is very nice artwork, I like that. Got a list of all the comics here and all the colorists. We get a breakdown of all the individual artists there too, which is nice because apparently they did have quite a few creative teams. Nice silhouette there. And then we jump straight into the very first series from 2013 featuring some Alan Davis artwork. It's a very Nick Fury Shield-centric storyline at the start before we get to the stuff about him losing his abilities thanks to a virus. But it was actually quite fun. There's one of the first appearances of Nick Fury there. And more Alan Davis artwork. I'll just kind of skip past this first storyline because it seems like they didn't know what they were doing until they started the storyline about him losing his powers, which is around this bit here, I believe. Alan Davis returns for the following storyline. Shout out if you're an Alan Davis fanboy. I know a lot of you guys really love him. Storm makes a guest appearance, and as you can see, even though we're quite far into it, Nick Fury is still quite heavily in the book. We get a little appearance by Shadowcat. Pretty sure that's Polaris. This should be the entire wrap-up of this storyline at least, I believe. Yeah. So there we go. Oh no, I don't have my virus. What am I going to do? Which leads us to the second storyline, which is the 2014 series. Still done by Paul Cornell. Ryan Stegman is the primary artist, but there are a few other people in this one here. This is my favorite of the two series, the 2013 and the 2014 series. The 2014 series, I think, is better because it deals more with him not having his powers. And, oh, okay, so it's actually reprinted the storyline from Wolverine and the X-Men issue 10 and 11 as well. That's cool. Yeah, I think that's kind of important that they've done that. So that's excellent. I'm very happy with that. I'm happy that they've reprinted it in the way that they have. And I'm really curious where they've actually placed the Death of Wolverine book. So let's skip forward a bit. It's nice artwork. Who's done that? I think that might be an annual or something because I don't remember actually reading that one. Here we go. So this in itself is the main Death of Wolverine miniseries, starting about here, I believe. Here we go. Kind of confused me the first time I read it, how it says the end. It is not, in fact, the end. It is at the very start of the series. But look at that amazing Steve McNiven artwork. That is absolutely incredible, and it is awesome all the way through. Heaps of guest stars, and that's what, to me, what makes it feel like a bit of a hush for Wolverine. We've got Viper, we've got Shadowcat, we've got Sabretooth, we've got Ogun, lots and lots of guest stars in it that make it really good. It does end very quickly, and the way he actually dies, I think, sucks. But each to their own, you might actually like it. Fast forward to the spot of him actually dying. Spoiler alert, but it happened in 2014. What are you going to do? It's just stupid. He's encased in adamantium. Of course he's going to come back. And we know this all the way through, but it still makes it a fun storyline. So the rest of the book are the miniseries, I assume. They kind of have to be. And like I said, all of them are actually really solid, and I'm glad that I read all of them. So in a typical omnibus like this, I would feel that it is filler, but this one, it actually isn't. Let's just have a look at what extras there are. Okay, so we got all the covers. All the alternate covers, which is nice. But does it have the extras that were in the original miniseries? Let's have a look. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. So all in the original miniseries, because it was so short and Marvel wanted to charge $1 million because that's what Marvel do, they included heaps of extras in it, and they are all reprinted here, thankfully. And they're really, really good, and I'm glad that they've included them. To me, it makes more sense that they included them in this bit here than in the original series, but I'm glad they did it, and that's worthwhile. This is a really good looking book. Very pleased with this one. Reflections of the creators. I love it when they do this. We get to find out if they're actually happy with their work. So, all in all, contents of the books, great. Binding, great. Paper, great. The spine sucks, but what are you going to do? What did I actually think of it after all that? I actually really, really loved it in spite of myself. I know that sounds stupid to say, but these big crossovers can be such a chore to read, but this one was actually really good. And the extras in it and the printing quality made it kind of even better. Marvel can sometimes be a bit crap with their printing lately, making lots of mistakes, but from what I could tell reading this, there was no mistakes. It was a solid read, the paper quality was great, and all the extras that were originally printed in the 4-issue miniseries are also there. So I highly do recommend this one. You can get it on Comics Etc. For $215. If you ordered it on Comics Etc. Direct, it would have set you back $158, but it's too late for that one. In US dollars, it is $125. So I actually think it's really good value for money. I think you should buy it, and we will see you next time for the next Omnibus wrap-up.